Dancing Mindfulness is a course that will help you use dance and other creative, expressive movement as a way to develop and further explore your relationship with the present moment. When we think about mindfulness, some of our images can get a little stereotypical, our images and our preconceived notions. For instance, when I say mindfulness, what often comes up for students I teach is this image of being perfectly calm and still, sitting in this gorgeous position outside underneath a tree somewhere. And while the fruits of a dancing mindfulness practice may bring you to that quiet, calm place, one of our core assumptions in this class is that any human activity, especially the creative ones, can be used as a vehicle for developing that connection to the present moment. Mindfulness is simply the practice of bringing our awareness back to the present moment. And it sounds like such an easy thing to do, but if you've ever tried it, you know that we live in a society that is anything but mindful. We multitask, our heads are designed to go off in a million different directions. And any practice that I know I can use and cultivate to bring myself that quiet center is something worth embracing. My name is Dr. Jamie Marich. I'm a clinical counselor based in Warren, Ohio, and mindfulness came into my life through my own clinical work with trauma and addiction about a decade ago. My experience was such that I did not feel I had to all of a sudden become this perfect Buddhist to develop a mindfulness practice, because my study really taught me that there's nothing inherently Buddhist about the practice of mindfulness. Really, it can be practiced by people of any faith tradition, or you don't necessarily have to have a faith tradition, although the word mindfulness itself does derive from Buddhist practice. So I set out in 2012 to found a community called Dancing Mindfulness. And the purpose of our gathering was to use dance and creative movement as a way for exploring our connection to the present moment. And for many of us, developing this dance practice and really, truly embracing it as part of our lives became a way that we could find that quiet, that calm, and that center. Sometimes in a seated position, and sometimes just that sense of internal calm and center in our spirit, in our mind, and in our body. This is a course in dancing mindfulness, a course where we will guide you using dance and creative movement as a way to explore, develop, cultivate this relationship, and ultimately carry it into the various arenas of your life. I think it's one thing to practice meditation, but it's an entirely different thing altogether to be able to take the fruits of what you've learned and use it to see the benefits in your own health and wellness, to use it to develop a larger consciousness for what's going on in the world, and to help you see yourself in relationship to the world. So Dancing Mindfulness, the course, is based on a book that I wrote and published in 2015 called Dancing Mindfulness, A Creative Path to Healing and Transformation. And this course is broken down into 7 major lesson areas. Now there are some introductory and closing lessons, but the 7 major lessons will cover the 7 elements of a dancing mindfulness practice. So those 7 elements are breath, sound, body, mind, spirit, story, and fusion. So when I train dancing mindfulness facilitators, I teach them that these elements are vehicles through which we can practice dance. So for instance, you may never have thought of your breath as being part of the dance. One of our core teachings is that breath is our very life force dancing through us. So when I hear people say things like, I can't dance, or I'm too physically debilitated or injured to dance, a common reply I give is, can you breathe? Because truly, if you can breathe, you can dance. If you appreciate that dance is this vital essence that flows through all of these areas of life. So in this course, each of these elements will be broken down into simple, easy to follow lessons. Another of our assumptions in our teaching that we pass along is opting out is always an option. So if you find that a particular lesson is a little too overwhelming for you, or it's something that you may not be in the emotional place to quite handle at this season of your journey, we respect your right to skip that lesson. And inspired by the work I do in trauma, because safety is so important to me, I will take great care to give you guidelines about safety, physical, emotional, and spiritual safety, as we go through these various lessons. And thank you very, very much for making the decision to join us in this journey of dancing mindfulness. And please have a very safe and a very productive, maybe productive is not the right word, a very bountiful practice. Thank you very much.